Thank you very much, Madam Master of Ceremony. Good afternoon, ladies and
Xin chào
gentlemen.
quý vị. Xin kính chào tất cả các quý vị tham dự.
First of all, allow me on behalf of
Trước hết thì
the
là cho
Center
phép
for
tôi thay
Energy
mặt
to express
cho
our thanks
Viện
and
Năng
appreciation
lượng
to
Trung tâm
Vietnam
năng
as
lượng
the host
ASEAN.
of this
Xin gửi lời chào tới
EMAK10
Việt Nam
and
là
to
quốc
ECCJ
gia
for
tổ chức
inviting
cho
me
sự
to
kiện
speak
EMAK10
in this
và
session today.
cảm ơn ECCJ đã mời tôi đến để trình bày tại cái phiên hội thảo ngày hôm nay.
Next slide, please. As a background, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, has become the world's fifth largest economy. It is home to about 649 million people with a combined GDP of about $3 trillion in 2018. And the average growth rate of the region is about 5% per year. And however, with the COVID-19 pandemic, the regional economy is projected to contract by 3.8%. And sustainable energy is integral to ASEAN's growth and strategy. And the ASEAN Center for Energy is playing a key role towards this strategy, and the critical role of ACE in order to advance ASEAN energy cooperation is to serve as catalyst, data and knowledge hub, as well as think tank. ACE, for your information, is a intergovernmental organization. We are now 21-year-old, and ACE has a legal personality that can enter into contract with any agencies or organization. And the big activities of the ASEAN Center for Energy is the management in terms of the facilitation, coordination, and integration of the ASEAN Plan of Action for Energy Cooperation, or the APAEC. Basically, the vision of the ASEAN Center for Energy is to serve as a catalyst for the economic growth and integration of the ASEAN region. And we do this by initiating, facilitating multilateral collaborations. Next slide. Under the APAEC Phase 1, for the period 2016 to 2020, we have conducted a lot of activities on energy efficiency and conservation, because this EMAK10 is focusing only on energy efficiency and conservation. And we did a lot of activities in partnership with ECCJ, with a lot of technical and funding support from METI of Japan. And the focus of the APAEC Phase 1 implementation are four key major strategies of ASEAN. The first strategy is to deep dive into the harmonization in terms of standards and labeling. Second one is to conduct a lot of activities in terms of how the policies of energy of the ASEAN member states would create a mechanism in order to finance many energy efficiency and conservation projects. The third strategy is to enhance the greater participation of the private sector. For this matter, we are looking into the participation of energy service companies, because we believe that the partnership with the government would really promote a lot of measures and promoting also the culture of energy efficiency and conservation in many sectors like industry and buildings. And also in Phase 1, we promoted the triple helix collaboration of government, industry, and the academic sector. Another fourth strategy of ASEAN is to really promote and develop green building code by way of reviewing the international experiences on green building code, developing the guideline on GBC, as well as conducting a lot of capacity building activities. In the APAEC Phase 1, our target was to achieve the reduction of 20% in energy intensity based on 2020, in 2020 based on 2005 levels. Next slide. would like to share with you that we have just concluded, we are about to conclude the performance of the Phase 1 of APAEC for the period 2016 to 2020. And for the energy efficiency and conservation, we are very pleased to inform you that the performance of the program under the APAEC is about 4.97 out of 5. We are not able to perfect the 5 because there are still some remaining activities that needs to be conducted within this year and some activities that have been moved for implementation in 2021. And ministers, the 38 ASEAN Ministers of Energy meeting was very pleased to see the high performance of the APAEC overall for the Phase 1 implementation 2016 to 2020. Next slide. In terms of our target on the energy intensity reduction, you may ask me, Chris, where are you now in terms of your target? Because your target was 20% EI reduction by 2020. And we are pleased to report to you that by 2018, ASEAN has achieved EI reduction of 21%, meaning we were able to exceed our target for 2020. And actually, we are reporting only 2018, meaning to say this could be higher when we report in the next year or two. And I would like also to share with you that the 38 ASEAN Ministers of Energy meeting has endorsed the new target for energy intensity reduction for ASEAN for the period 2021 to 2025. Our target is to achieve 32% EI by 2025. And this would give an implication that we have to more than double our collaboration with the ASEAN member states, with dialogue partners and international organizations, and our leaders have identified that initiatives will be focused more on the transport and industrial sectors, also continuing the activities that we have been doing in the building sector. Next slide. Some of the key accomplishments that we have for the implementation of the APAEC Phase 1 under energy efficiency and conservation are as follows. We did a lot of activities on EE financing. We did a lot of policy research. We did a lot of seminar workshop and even dissemination in the ASEAN member states and also involving with the DPs and the IOs. The second one is the endorsement of our leaders, meaning the ASEAN Ministers of Energy meeting of the regional roadmap for air conditioners and for lighting. So we have already 2 regional roadmaps, lighting and for air conditioners. The third key accomplishment of energy efficiency and conservation is the endorsement also of the energy ministers of the guidelines for us to be able to integrate EE, meaning the electronic and electrical equipment mutual recognition agreement. So we are now integrating energy efficiency into the overall framework of the EE MRA. And that would translate in terms of a lot of savings in consumption as well as CO2 emissions. And the fourth one is a study on the future of cooling with the IEA. And you know, cooling is something that would drive the growth of energy in the region up to 2040. According to the study, that would require something like 200 gigawatts or 45% of the required capacity additions by 2040. So in the APAEC Phase 2, we will be doing a lot of dissemination activities in the area of technical aspects, policy actions, and of course, a lot of dissemination activities, also focusing from these key accomplishments that we had in APAEC Phase 1. Next slide. And And of course, as I mentioned, we are promoting the triple helix collaboration, the industry, the government, and the academe. And one of the avenues is the yearly holding of the ASEAN Energy Business Forum by ACE, which is held in conjunction with the AMEM. And of course, we also give a big boost of the private sector participation through the yearly holding or organization of the ASEAN Energy Awards. And most recently is the launching by METI, by Japan, of the CIFEA last year in the Philippines, where it will facilitate collaboration and joint activities between government and the private sector to enhance the deployment of cleaner energy and low carbon technologies in the ASEAN region, particularly focusing a lot on energy efficiency and conservation. Next slide. On the ASEAN Energy Awards, we are very happy to have the collaboration with ECCJ. Because of their initiative, we were able to expand the scope of the ASEAN Energy Awards in the area of energy efficiency and conservation in 2019, which is the addition of the zero energy building in the special submission category. And of course, the foundation of the development of the ASEAN Energy Awards was with the support, technically and financially, by METI and ACCJ since 2000. And we are very grateful for the achievements that we have achieved so far with the ASEAN Energy Awards. Next slide. And you can see the yearly trend in terms of the number of submissions and also the number of winners for the categories of the EE&C awards. For this year, we see decline in the submission because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But even if there was a decline, we still see a huge number of entries, which was about 61. And that is still very large compared to the previous years. And hopefully, we would be able to bring more interest from the private sector in the ASEAN Energy Awards because we have now the CEV, the Zero Energy Building category. Thank you. Next slide. Another activity that we would like to pursue in the coming years is our initiatives on harmonization and promotion of standards and labeling. We will do a lot of work on the regional policy roadmap that we have for air conditioners and lighting. Currently, we are developing the national roadmaps for lighting in the ASEAN member states. And for the phase 2, we will be expanding our initiatives to include electric motors, transformers, and other electric appliances. And also, we are currently now developing the regional product registration database and system for air conditioners and refrigerator. And our objective is to assist tracking and monitoring the products of these appliances in the ASEAN market. Next slide. Another one is, I mentioned earlier, is the endorsement by the AMEM of the integration of energy efficiency into the ASEAN EEE MRA. So with this MRA, the key element is the acceptance of the testing report and agreeing on the testing method. So what would this translate in a layman language and explanation? Meaning to say countries which don't have testing laboratories, they don't have to establish their own testing laboratories. What they have to do is just avail of this EEE MRA, the mutual recognition arrangements, saying to it that they would be able to accept the test reports, and therefore all the appliances that they would import or that would come to their countries will be assured that they are energy efficient. Next slide. Another one which I think would be a lot of activities that we will do in phase 2 is to increase our collaboration activities on green building, particularly on the building codes, in order to increase the penetration and deployment of high energy efficient products. Our engagement with the International Energy Agency is expected to develop a long-term buildings roadmap for ASEAN, as well as the sustainable cooling roadmap for the region. And this green building code study that we have, we were able to identify the technical as well as the policy challenges, which we will further implement in the APAEC Phase 2 implementation. Next slide. Also, for the enhancing energy efficiency financing, we did a lot of activities such as the mapping of energy efficiency in ASEAN. Also, we did a very detailed financing study or guidelines for Thailand, which is now being used as reference by other ASEAN member states. And also the financing mechanism design for EE financing implementation in the ASEAN member states. They are very useful so that the guidelines that we are developing for the region and for the AMS, we would see a lot of innovative financing mechanism in order to finance the projects. Next slide. And of course, the very heart of the EE&C program is the partnership between ECCJ and ACE, the implementation of the AJIP, which you can see on the screen, as well as the ECAP. So AJIP basically is a training of trainers program so that we are able to enhance energy management, not only in industry, but also in buildings. And so far, this AJIP training program is very effective because it consists of several activities. The training is very rigid. It involves technical training. It involves energy auditing in buildings or industry. We provide coaching and mentoring to all the energy auditors who are participating in this training of trainers. And then there are examinations. There are two times examinations that they have to pass. And when they pass all these requirements, then that's the time we provide them a certificate and we acknowledge the passers, the graduates of this training program on the occasion of the gala dinner of the ASEAN Ministers of Energy meeting, ASEAN Energy Awarding Ceremonies. Next slide. And of course, I would like to acknowledge and express our appreciation to our two training centers. One is the PEMTC in Thailand, and the other one is the training center in Ho Chi Minh City. And we would like to thank both the governments of Thailand and Vietnam for allowing us to make use of these facilities to train the training of trainers of the 10 ASEAN member states. And to date, there are already a total of 54 trainers that we have certified. And with this number, we would see a lot of trainers to be trained in the future. Next slide. Another important activity between ASEAN and Japan is the Ajit Scheme 3, basically to assist Cambodia and Laos PDR in the development of their legal and regulatory framework for energy efficiency and conservation. Next slide. And this assistance include the development of EE&C Policy and Law, including the development of a decree, for example, on 11th of May 2020, the EE&C decree of Laos PDR has been approved. We also do support on the standards and labeling system arrangement in terms of the rating standard, the designing of the label, as well as the MBE and of course the MRA. Next slide. The third activity is focusing a lot on energy management system arrangement. We did a lot of training, we did a lot of seminar workshop, and I'm sure we have been helping both Cambodia and Lao PDR in the development of their energy management systems through the development, for example, of the thresholds, their model projects, the development of the guideline, which is very important. We also assisted them in developing the periodical reports, the development of the concept of energy managers, as well as the qualifications and training of energy managers. Next slide. Now I would like to provide some further information about the APAEC Phase 2 2021 to 2025. So basically, this is the blueprint of the energy cooperation, consisting of 7 program areas, one of which is energy efficiency and conservation. Under the Phase 2, we have in total 7 program areas, 32 outcome-based strategies, 100 action plans, and 346 annual priorities, which will be implemented for a period of 5 years. Our focus is to accelerate energy transition and to strengthen energy resilience, and we can do that through greater innovation and cooperation. Next slide. And the key strategies of the APAEC Phase 2 you can see on the slide, but due to time constraint, I would like only to focus on energy efficiency and conservation. As I said earlier, the target is EI reduction of 32% by 2025, and to encourage more efforts from the ASEAN member states, of course also from the regional efforts, and the focus is transport and industry. Next slide. Next slide. And this, I think, is the last slide that I would like to share. But before I focus on the outcome-based strategies of the 4 of the and action plans of the energy efficiency and conservation, I would like to inform you that the preparation of the APAEC Phase 2, we also considered some sort of COVID-19 sustainable recovery plans. And what we are looking at, because of this pandemic, we will, for example, strengthen the cross-pillar collaboration. We are going to address the cross-cutting issues. We need more players in order to achieve our targets. Second, in the development of the economic stimulus packages by the ASEAN member states, they will inject the green measures, saying to it that we are promoting cleaner energy. And the third one is to support investments that deploy clean electricity sources, modernize power grids, improve energy efficiency, and increase the spread of cleaner transport and use of sustainable biofuels. And of course, our target of the 32% EI reduction. And for this APAEC Phase 2, our key strategies are as follows: to expand, harmonize, and promote standards and labeling. So we are not only focusing on air conditioners and lighting, we also focus on transformers, motors, refrigerators, and other appliances. Next one is to enhance participation of the private sector, financial institutions, as well as clusters. Economic clusters or the business startups and accelerators will also form part in the triple helix collaboration that we have in Southeast Asia. The third one is to strengthen energy efficiency in building. As I said, the focus is on the green building codes. And I mentioned to you earlier that we have already identified the key recommendations, and we will bring these key recommendations into actions in the APAEC Phase 2. And the fourth is pursue energy efficiency and transport. This is a very new initiative, and therefore you will see a lot of information sharing, a lot of seminar, workshop, webinar, in order to fully understand energy efficiency and conservation in the transport sector. And we would like to thank, of course, ECCJ and METI for their commitment to also facilitate and to help ASEAN in addressing OBS number 4. And the last OBS is to advance energy efficiency in industry. We did a lot already in the past few years, but I guess for this coming years, we will see deeper we will see technical policy and of course, a lot of capacity building for EE&C in the industry sector. This I would like to end my presentation, and thank you very much for everyone for listening. Thank you.